Red flags. You have to be very careful about getting yourself in a friends with benefit situation. Those of you that have been there, then you already know what I'm talking about. So, this guy that I used to be friends with in my mid 20s, he was he is in the music industry, and I was pursuing acting, and he knew this about me, so he introduced me to his uncle, who happened to end up being my acting coach and mentor up until like I left LA. I paid for my own classes, by the way, so don't get the wrong idea. But this friend of mine, he knew that I had just gotten out of a relationship, so he knew the vulnerable state that I was in. So he suggested that I come visit him in Atlanta because he had just moved to Atlanta. It had been maybe 2 months or so. He had left his ex-girlfriend and son in Cali and moved for work. And then he had just broke up with her. So now we were basically each other's listening ear. He would talk about how much he missed his son and how he was crying and all of these things that, drew us close. So I thought. Then he was love bombing me, telling me that my ex was a dumbass because he didn't know what he had. If he knew he had a good thing, he just fucked it up, and he's stupid. Guys do stupid things. And he really put me on this pedestal because he had admired the fact that I had a degree, and he did not. He didn't even have a high school diploma. But yet and still, he seemed to have been doing very well for himself without all of that. He was still working. He was allegedly sending money to his children's mothers because he had 2 kids by 2 different women. Now, he's like, oh, you are like wife material, this, that. Like, that guy is stupid. He doesn't know what he had. You need to come out here and get a change of scenery, get your mind off of things, just come hang out. It even gotten to the point where he was calling me his best friend because we were on the phone just about every day, several times a day. Like, I really didn't feel like I needed to even question what he was doing because we were always talking. Now, we weren't even technically in a relationship, we were just friends. But once I went to visit, it turned into a friend with benefits thing. Now, I knew that I should have waited, but when you're in this vulnerable state and you just think, I just want to not feel that pain of that breakup. Well, at least for me, that was my thought process. I wanted to be wanted. I wanted to be loved on, and I wanted someone to make me feel wanted. And this friend with benefits was making me feel that way. But that ended up going south. He would do things to try to get me to react jealous. There was girls starting to comment on his social media, but yet he put me in his social media, like he put my pictures up there as if we were this couple, but we were never officially together. We were just friends with benefits. He did not want to get into a relationship so soon. I had just gotten out of one, so we were in this weird space. However, it was like, once you're intimate with somebody, that's when the lines get crossed real quick. He ended up knocking me off that pedestal. He started discarding me telling me that I was crazy about me questioning him about some of the girls' comments that I was seeing. And it was just like, well, what's going on? He would pick fights with me, just to yell at me on the phone. Then he'd give me the silent treatment. And it was a constant cycle. Like, he would say that he missed me, and then he'd be saying like, oh, well, I was gonna ask you to be with me, but then you started tripping again. Because we went from talking every day, several times a day, to sometimes like I might not get the call back when he said he was gonna call me back. And then he started changing his instant message icon. It went from my picture to another person's picture. So I'm like, okay, what's up with that? Oh, you're spazzing. That's just an artist that I'm working with. Really? Well, he and I were dealing with each other for months on end. Within maybe about a year, we were dealing with each other. And all of a sudden, he's putting another woman's picture as his icon. And then he took all of my pictures off his page. And I think he left maybe one up. And then he put this picture up of his new supply, the new artist. But then, I became jealous for obvious reasons. But the way that he would scream and yell at me was very intense. And I'm like, well, this is not love. And this is not any type of best friend treatment either, because he used to say that I was his best friend and all these things because we used to be each other's ear to listen before the intimacy. So it's important to already know your worth and already think highly enough about yourself, not in a conceited and arrogant way, but a way that it doesn't faze you whether or not somebody thinks you're great or not. You don't need to have a hype man. You have to be your own hype man. Because sometimes those friends with benefits only want to have you as a benefit for a short period of time. But you may want something more. And you do deserve more. So you have to be patient with yourself and take your time in between relationships. The right one will come along. So as a divorcee, I have not dated at all. My divorce was finalized in 2021, and I am glad and proud to say that I have not gone on a single date or slept with anybody since 2019. The old me was looking for love in all the wrong places. The old me wanted to get over this one relationship quickly because I didn't want to sit in that pain. But I've learned to sit in it and get the lesson, gain all the wisdom that I need from it, and heal so I can show up as the best version of myself for me and my children and whoever is to come. They'll come in their own time, but I will be more than ready for that. But I'm going to be fully transparent here. When my husband cheated and I was devastated because we had just bought a house, we had twin daughters on top of our son, so we had 3 kids, and I was like trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I can't stay in this unhealthy marriage. Like, he's probably going to continue to cheat. I almost spun the block on that friend with benefit just so I can feel loved or desired. I wanted to see if I still had it. So I went and I found his social media and I had hit follow, and he immediately sent me a message. So that was like instantly like kind of making me feel like, okay, well, if there was something wrong with me, he wouldn't have responded. but nothing happened. I just let that be.